Good evening, everybody. Today's guest is a reminder that you can make interesting connections just about anywhere. I was introduced to Brendon Clarke through a dear friend I met exercising in the park. Now, we can refer to Brendon as the CEO of an AI company, Employ, but he'd prefer we refer to him as a loving father and husband. Please welcome Brendon in an episode I've called The Evolution of Identity. A little bit about who you are and what you do.
If we're truly lawyers, I'm a nerd.
Wasn't very planned.
Who are you?
That's a big question, Zach.
Put this in the too hard basket.
I swear a bit.
Why do you think everybody hates lawyers?
Lawyers out there, if you're listening.
There's no work-life balance.
I have faith.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Unsolicited Advice. Today we're joined by a non-lawyer, which is intriguing in and of itself. Hopefully pretty soon into the conversation you'll see why it was worth having the conversation. But without further ado, welcome Brendon Clarke.
Thanks very much. Thanks for having me, Zach.
Of course. So let's start with, you're not a lawyer. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
Right at the moment. Right at the moment. I'm on a discovery period, I think. So I'm reinventing myself. Mm-hmm. I own an AI company. We deliver AI software and products to small to medium businesses and enterprise clients as well. Mm-hmm. We're 2.5 years into it, and it's doing very well. Mm-hmm. Obviously, AI is the buzzword at the moment, and if you're at the forefront of products and AI, I think you're going to be in a good spot as well. So, but traditionally, I was a real estate agent for 15. I had a real estate business for 15 years, and was a real estate agent for 25 years. So, sold that business 2 years ago. It was funny you actually mentioned what do you do, because I actually said to my wife the other day, I said, I feel like I've lost my identity. You know? Okay. And it was quite interesting. I mentioned to somebody else the other day. They said, "What do you do?" And I actually said, "What do I do? You know, who am I?" You know, it's like it's very interesting. But the question I said to my wife, or said the statement I said to my wife was, you know, who am I? I feel like because I've been I was a real estate agent. Got to change my paradigm. Mm-hmm. I was a real estate agent for so long, and that was me. You know, and I had a great business. It was very successful in the South Sydney, Waterloo, Zetland area, and that was who I was. You know, I was one part. We were husband and wife team in the area, and now that that's gone, I've had to really strip back and almost, I shouldn't say kill that personality, but I've had to literally let that go, and it's been a massive discovery for me as well. It's probably I would say it was the second time in my life that I've had to do this. I've literally got rid of all my worldly possessions, and I've got to apologise in advance. We start off on a topic, and I'll just head down on a road.
I've said it countless times. This show is built for rabbit holes, by all means.
No, But yeah, this is probably the second time I've had to reinvent myself and really strip back the who am I? Yeah. And really dig deep and take a good look at myself and say, who was I? Who do I want to be now? Mm-hmm. And I'm going through that process at the moment, and it's been tough. You know, it's been tough to give up. Even though I've got a new business and I'm 2.5 years, 3 years into it. Mm-hmm. Some part of you sometimes still holds on to that ideology that you've got about yourself. You know, like I'm a real estate agent. Like, who are you? I'm right now in the process of saying, okay, I'm not that anymore. I'm a CEO of an AI company, and we're on a path. This is my new journey. Yeah, so that's where we're at the moment.
Well, you've given me a lot of different paths I can take this conversation with. I guess where do I want to start? Let's start tangibly with the company itself. I think one similarity that the AI world has with law is they're both umbrella terms. So AI can encapsulate a bunch of different things. What specifically does your company do? What do you practice?
Yeah, good question. Well, our first AI agent that we delivered was a conversational AI, voice that plugged into. It was a platform that plugged into Xero, MYOB, all the major kind of accounting platforms.
Yep.
And it literally calls, as a business, it calls all your debtors. So it will literally pull through information like invoice number, it was how much it was owed, when it was owed, all the line items on your invoice. And it was literally a conversational. So you would literally sync it up with your Xero, and it would literally start calling all the people that owed you money.
Yeah.
And and you think this is amazing because it's not a bot, it's not a robot. It's not saying, Zach, you owe us $250, that's due on. It's literally, you could throw anything at this AI and it will have a conversation. It will negotiate. It will literally, because we've got parameters that we can give the AI as well. So a business can go in and really set their own agent. So it's really, they can mold their agent to what their business, we've got different temperaments. We've got 16 different voices, and they're all Aussie voices as well, which is great. So
some are flexible, some are rigid.
100%. So the temperament and the personalities are really cool as well. So you can set a nice, soft, empathy. So if you've got a flower shop, and someone owes you money for,
you don't want to have some barrister like screaming down the line.
Yeah. 100%. So that's the firm and assertive for the voice that personality we've got.
Yeah.
But you got the soft and empathetic one where you can really fine tune the agent to what your business is like. And it's got a scheduling system, so you can call people on certain days. Like a lot of our businesses don't like to call people on Monday, so you can turn that Monday off, so it starts on Tuesday. But it's a really cool product because it number one, it does things that humans don't. It's consistent, right? And traditionally, there's only a small percentage of humans or people that will be consistent in terms of follow-up, and also with taking data and taking notes and calling people back on certain. So if you said to it, listen, I'll pay it on Friday, all right, most humans or most people would literally maybe put a note into the system, but the AI captures all the details. It will literally make notes. It will feed it back to the business owner. And Zach, if you haven't called, so you haven't paid on Friday, it's calling you on Monday again. So it's it's staunch. It's very, very, it's very, very good.
Relentless. Yeah.
It's relentless, which is great.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as the economy shrinks and as money gets tighter, the businesses that actually have a accounts receivable plan or an automation in place, they're the ones that are going to win, right? Because you've got the AI following you up. Because if let's say I owed you money, okay, I did a job for you as a lawyer, and you sent out the invoice, and I didn't meet your terms in terms of payment. If you had an AI conversational agent calling me all the time, following me up, versus the other person that I owe money to that doesn't call me. All right, that doesn't follow up, or maybe call me every couple of weeks just to chase me up. The person that I'm going to pay first is probably yourself, because you've got the automation in place. Because I know if I'm your debtor, all right, I know that you're going to be the one that's going to want the money first, all right, or because this person is not chasing me up as much. Naturally, I'm not going to pay that person. So we do have situations like that. So. This is where the AI is very, very relentless. And we've been going 7 months now with this project, and we've brought in just over 43 million in unpaid invoices, which is amazing, right?
Yeah.
In 7 months, it's crazy. It's a very sticky product as well.
Yeah.
When our businesses get it on board and they see how it works, and the funny thing is that a lot of accountancy people within the business, they actually get a bit frightened of, is it going to take my job? But what we try and train people and try and guide people on is that the AI is there to just pick up the slack where you can't do, and allow the people in the business that are doing the accountancy to work on that top level stuff. All right, that day-to-day grind. You imagine having to make 100 calls a day for a business that has a lot of outstanding invoices. For a human being, it's quite a lot. It's a lot of heavy lifting.
It's also quite a substantial workload, but it's also a substantial cognitive load as well, because who wants to be calling people, telling them to pay you? It's a pretty draining job to have to do a lot.
And the AI is unemotional.
Yeah.
Right. And we're unfortunate. We're human beings. We come to work. We might have had a fight with our spouse. We might have had a bad morning. We come to work, and do you really want to make those calls? Or as the owner of a business, do you really want someone else to make that call that's had a bad day? Because a lot of these businesses, they have ongoing relationships with other businesses, and the AI is just a friendly reminder to make, and it's non-emotional, right? But unfortunately, if a human was making that, it can get emotional if it's not making payment. So it's a very, very good tool for businesses to use. It's not taking anybody's jobs, but what it's doing is it's doing the heavy lifting, and it's actually it's shining the light on a lot of businesses as well, on a lot of accountancy practices, and because it's just shining the light and saying, okay, well, these calls weren't being made in the first place.
Yeah.
So AI is picking up that slack.
Yeah.
So really, how is it taking people's jobs? Right? The job wasn't being done in the first place.
Yeah.
So it's a really good tool. We've just released another version of that because I was a real estate agent. It's called Rent Chaser. So it plugs into property manager's software, and literally, if people are late with their rent, just gives them a gentle reminder that the rent's late. And again, because I've been in that industry before, it can the rentals. Literally, you pick up your fee once the rent comes in. That's when you get paid. So if the rent's not coming in, the agency's not getting paid. So we've just launched that tool as well, and this week we launched another AI product as well, which is really cool. So we've got a lot going on at the moment. We've got an interview simulator. So
I think that this one in particular is going to be very interesting for our audience, who are often law students and young professionals. So tell me a little bit about this one.
Yeah, this is a very, very cool product. This has been in development for quite a while now, and it's just popped out. So it's literally an AI avatar where you can sign up. So it doesn't matter whether you're looking for work, you're a student, looking to brush up on their interview skills. You could have been out of work for 10 years, or you imagine, like, I had a business for 15 years. I was doing the interviewing. I wasn't being interviewed whatsoever. So it was funny because I actually did some testing with the AI interview simulator.
Yeah.
And it started firing questions at me, and I went, holy shit. And I got stuck on a couple of questions, and it's really, and I was in the spotlight, and I'm going,
I've been out of the game for a while. I don't know.
Thinking, my goodness, I need to brush up on my skills. So, but the more and more I did it, right, the more comfortable I got with actually answering the questions, as if I was in an interview situation, and that's what it's there for. So, this is so cool. So, and it sprung from when I used to have a business. Kids used to come in to my office all the time looking for a job. I used to do an interview with them, and I used to say to myself, who's teaching these kids? These kids are not job ready. They're coming out of high school. They might have done a TAFE course or a uni course, and they come into an interview situation. They're all nervous. They don't know the correct answers.
A lot of them probably haven't been in an in-person class at uni as well, because COVID's sent everything online too.
100%. 100%. So we built this product, and it's fantastic. So it's whether you're a mum that's been out of work, or a dad that's been out of work for a while, and wants to get back into it. You've looked after the kids for a while, for 10 years, and you haven't done. You can brush up on your interview skills with this AI avatar. So you upload your CV, and you can plug in what job you're going for. And it will build 15 to 20 questions, and it will fire these questions at you, and you have to answer them because the camera's on you as well. They've got the AI avatar there, you've got the camera on you, and it will give you, after each interview, it will give you a full breakdown report on how you went and where you can improve. So it's a super cool tool. We love it. It's I believe it's gonna do really well. So either, whether you've been in the job, like we've got a company that employs or gets jobs for high ranking CEOs, and they're looking to actually embed it into their platform where they can just start, because a lot of CEOs, they work their way up the chain. They actually don't have to actually do any actually interviews. But when they leave a company, then they have to start the interviewing process. And so it doesn't matter whether you're a CEO or someone coming out of school. This interview simulator's for you. It's really cool product.
And a related point I'm curious to ask you about, you said you've had your own business and you've usually been the one sitting in the seat doing the interviewing. At the moment, it's actually clerkship season where a lot of law students are applying for these really competitive graduate positions and they have to go through these interview processes. And I'm curious from your perspective, what mistakes or what challenges do you think that students and young people tend to have in the interview space?
It's really in interviews. I believe that it's all about practice. It's all about making sure that if you know what's going to be asked, or if you can get a kind of a gauge on what's going to be asked, preparation is the number one key. It doesn't matter which situation you go into. If you can prepare yourself, even if just someone, the interviewer asks, "Tell me a little bit about yourself." Some people just get stuck with it. Oh yeah, well, I like this, I play sport. It's like, those sort of questions can be a make or break in an interview situation. You get someone that's smooth, that's practiced their interview skills, or has been to quite a few interviews in that sort of situation, that can answer correctly. An employer is going to go, this is the right person. And especially if you're in that legal kind of fraternity as well, you have to think on your feet. You got people all the time on the phone, whether you're in court or you're in certain situations. You have to be able to think on your feet all the time, right? In any situation, because a lot of the time you've got confrontation coming at you. The legal fraternity, it's all about probably confrontation. So how are you going to handle yourself? If you can't handle yourself in an interview, how are you going to handle yourself when you're talking to a client? The client's upset, or a client's, you need to have a bit of empathy for the client. So that interview simulator is going to get people ready to for the rest of their life, I believe. So, but circling back to your question, what traits do you think people need? Is that the question you had?
Yeah, I guess on that point, what do you look for when you're hiring someone?
I probably look for confidence. Right, I look for people that are natural. All right, I can tell when I've done so many interviews over when I was the principal of the real estate. You can tell when people are turning it on. You can tell when people are lying. You can tell when people are really nervous. So I think that for me, when people are confident within their own skin, all right, and are quite comfortable, relaxed, they're the kind of people that you want in your business. Because everybody's going to get nervous when they go through an interview. But if you know what people are going to say, if you know what the boss of a business is going to say, or you know what questions they're going to ask, or a recruitment agency what questions they're going to ask, it's preparation is going to get you there. And that preparation, if you practice, you'll feel natural. The truth will come out, and I believe that you'll get the job every time. But you've just got to be able to relax. And I think the people that I've hired over that time have people that I've seen that have been relaxed in their own skin, and said, okay, well, they might not have said this right, but they're relaxed, so they can handle themselves. That's probably what I look for as a business owner.
And zooming back out a little bit, so we're on your company in general, I'd say a lot of people in general, a lot of people my age, really romanticize the idea of being the CEO of a company in general, let alone an AI company. Yeah. How does one get on that path?
I think you're either born with it or you're thrown into it. So there's a certain type of people that are just happy working 9 to 5 and working underneath someone. Being a CEO of a company, it's a lonely road. It's If you've got business partners, great. But it is being a CEO of a company is probably the most challenging thing that anybody could ever do. It's lonely. You think to yourself, how am I going to pay people? If you have a tough month, you've got so many things that you have to. A lot of the time you're actually going and doing the sales, or you're bringing in business, you're putting out fires. But I think probably the best thing, if you have aspirations to be a CEO or own your own business, what I would probably do if I had my time again, I would probably look in the market and see who was probably at the top of their game in that kind of arena. Let's say if I was in the legal fraternity, I'll go, okay, well, who's at the top of their game? Who's a crack CEO that's a gun, nice to their employees, but has just got a really good ethical way of doing business, and is really, really good, got a solid business, and I'd probably hunt them down and ask them for a job, work under them. I look over my time. I've had some of the best mentors in my careers. As a real estate agent, and we'll probably go into this a little bit later. But I was a fitter and machinist. Fitter and machinist before I was a real estate agent. But I look when I was a fitter and I was a tradesperson. I had the best. At the time, I thought they were assholes.
Yeah.
I thought, this person's such a prick,
Yeah.
But they teach you the best lessons, and sometimes those people, like I had, when I first got into real estate, I had a really good mentor as well, and I thought to myself, wow, this guy is really, he's giving me a hard time. He had 2 feet in my back, but he actually saw something in me that I probably didn't see as well.
Yeah.
And he would push me. He would be hard. He was a hard ass, but it was the best education I ever got.
Yeah.
People spend $100,000s of dollars on going to uni.
Yeah.
But those kind of experiences that you have working under really good mentors, money can't pay for that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
So I would get under a person, or I'd literally work for a person that was at the top of their game. Like when we were in real estate, my wife and I, we were the husband and wife team in Surrey Hills. We went and worked for John McGrath.
Yeah.
And he just had some of the best work ethic, and we learnt so much from him. And he was just relentless in customer service. Customer service was it. We learnt some great things from him. And my wife and I, we were just, every customer that he had that was close to him, he would just give us the business because he knew that he could count on us. You know what I mean? So it was, get yourself some good mentors. And if you can work, if you have the opportunity to work underneath them or for them, go for it. Yeah, especially when you're young. Just go for it. So,
what I'm finding really fascinating is hearing about your career chronology, in the sense that it seems like you're a fitter machinist and then a real estate agent to now tech CEO. Tell me how these pieces fit together, if you don't mind telling me the story.
Yeah, that's fine. So I came into HSC. I did HSC down in Melbourne. I barely passed. I was not good at school. I think at the school you had to get 250 to pass. I got 252, so I barely passed. Yeah. And yet again, I was in a defining moment. What do I do? The whole family moved to Sydney. I went to TAFE and did some engineering, and just again study in school. It just wasn't for me. So I thought, okay, well, engineering, I'll just go and be a fitter. And I did an apprenticeship, and that was probably the best thing that I could ever do. I got to learn how to weld, fabricate. I used to love, using my hands to build things. We used to make conveyor belts. We used to pull apart gearboxes, and you really, really had to think about what you were doing. So, and again, I had some really good mentors through that part of my career as well. Then from my being an apprentice, I went and worked at a printing factory, Offset Alpine Printing in Lidcombe, and we used to fix all the printing machines. And from there, it's by chance. One of the printers, I was good mates with one of the printers there, and he said, "I'm going to go do this real estate course." And I said, "Yeah, I'll come with you." And because my dad had always been in sales, and I was kind of getting sick of working to the Bundy clock. You know the old punch in, punch out kind of thing, where if you were 5 minutes late, they'd dock you on your pay. But if you worked overtime, if you worked 10 minutes over, they wouldn't pay you. So it was kind of 6 of one, half a dozen the other.
Yeah.
And I was kind of getting sick of that, and I just went, you know what? And I always thought to myself, I knew that I knew that there was going to be something bigger, if that makes any sense. So I mentioned this to a lot of people. The difference, I believe, that the difference between a millionaire and a billionaire, millionaires, they believe they can do stuff, all right? But billionaires, they actually know. They have a knowing about them, okay? So not that I'm a billionaire yet, but I think to myself, I've always had a knowing that, okay, everything's going to be all right, or this is the path that I need to take. And from that, I continued my real estate, certificate. I got a job. One guy gave me a job. He gave me a chance. Who happened to be a really good mentor. And I remember, I'll tell you a little story. I remember my first time. I was at my West Pennant Hills. Was the office where we worked, or where I worked. There was the principal and the salesperson. The principal was this big Australian guy, and he was a massive. He was like a unit, and he was an old caravan salesman. So he used to sell caravans back in the 70s and 80s. Yeah, he had these big hands, and they were like bananas, bunches of bananas. You know what I mean?
Work with caravans long you become one.
100%. And his salesperson was or his sales manager was a Vietnamese guy that had migrated out here many years ago. And they were kind of like the yin and yang of like real estate, offices. Yeah. But the principal of the business, he pulled me into his office one day, and it sat at the top of West Pennant Hills on Thompson's Corner, and you could see down Pennant Hills Road, and it went Cherrybrook Road this way. And he pulled me into the office. He's Brendon. He goes, "Mate, I want you to look out here." And because he had the glass, glass windows, and he said, "Tell me what you see." And the young fellow, I'm going, "Oh, I see cars on the road." He goes, No, have a really good look. And I said, he goes, "Take your time." And I'm looking now, and I said, "Mate, I see cars on the road." And he said to me, "Brendon, this is the difference between me and you." He goes, "You see cars on the road, I see the spaces between the cars." And he never told me what that meant, but I got it. It dawned on me years ago. All right. So years after that, I thought, the cars are the obstacles, okay? The spaces are the opportunities, all right? So if you can see the spaces between the cars, all right, that's the opportunity you need to take. Does that make sense? So a lot of people focus on, it's when you're crossing the road. When you're crossing the road, people focus on the cars. But if you focus on the space between the cars, that's the opportunity. All right? And I've now used that throughout my whole life. Using that, okay, then you have to find the space, wherever it is, find the space. If you find the space, there's an opportunity. All right? So, so I went and worked for this guy in West Pennant Hills, and he was a great mentor. The sales manager was a great mentor too. I worked for the sales manager for many years after that, when we left that office. But we literally, from there, I went and worked for John McGrath, met my wife, and we worked for John McGrath for about 4 or 5 years, I believe. Learned some top skills in terms of like selling real estate from John. He's just a legend. And from there, we started our own business. So that was over 15 years ago. So we sold it 2 years ago. So it was a really good journey. But now, tech CEO. And I never would have even thought I'd have been a tech CEO. If you asked me 10 years ago or 5 years ago, I was a tech CEO, AI, because we didn't even know what AI was back then. So, so essentially, so I've had to go through that. And I mentioned before about kind of giving up your personality, giving up, and letting go
of your sense of self.
You had to, who am I? And I had to do that between, each change that I had in my career, like going from a fitter and machinist to a salesperson for real estate. I look back then and I had to do exactly the same thing. I had to let go of that sense of being only worth, and it's your self-worth you have to let go of. I had to let go of me being a fitter and machinist. And I remember a time when, because my sales manager at that time, the Vietnamese guy, he was all about dream building, right? And he said to me, he goes, mate, I was getting close to being the number one salesperson in the office. And he said to me, come on, let's do some dream building. I said, mate, what's dream building? So he said, we went in the car, and when I first started my real estate career, we had to have a 4-door car so you could take people around and show them the houses. So, and I had a Toyota Camry. I love that Toyota Camry. It was my first kind of really nice car. So we drove up to BMW Artarmon, and he said, come on, we're going to start test driving some BMWs. He goes, we're going to start dreaming big, right?
Yeah.
Setting some really good goals.
Yeah.
And right at that time, I was still in my fitter and machinist mode. My mind was still, okay, I'm not worthy of driving a BMW.
Yeah.
And he couldn't get me out of the car.
Yeah.
And he said to me, come on, let's go. We're going to start. And I said, no, mate, I'll never be able to afford one of those.
Yeah.
And you know what he did? He left me in the car. And he went for an hour. He went test driving cars, the BMWs.
Yeah.
And I sat there.
Yeah.
And he came back and he said, mate, I've had the best time.
Yeah.
He goes, you should see what these BMWs. And he literally, and I'm sitting there and I started to think to myself, you know what, I should have gone. I should have gone and I should have done the test drive. And he was giving me stick all the way back to the office. He said, mate, you missed out on the best couple of hours, you know. And I was just sitting there and I was just listening to the radio, and my self-talk was that I wasn't good enough.
Yeah.
You know, I wasn't good enough for the BMW. Obviously, it was a status symbol, but it was a growth. It was a growth pattern that my sales manager was trying to kick out of me. You know, he was trying to say, okay, well, you have to leave that image of being a fitter and machinist behind, and you have to move into your next phase of being, you know, a real estate salesperson. You know, and lo and behold, within 3 months, I was driving a BMW. Yeah, it was so cool. It was so cool, because he took me back again.
Yeah.
And then we were test driving, and I went, oh, these are amazing. They're amazing cars. And, you know, it's literally, I don't know how I did it, but, you know, because we had to sort of like juggle a few things, but within 3 months, I was driving a BMW. Yeah. And it was an amazing feeling to be able to make that shift. You know, it wasn't about the car. It wasn't, you know, yes, it was a nice car, but it was about having that mental shift between, okay, well, this is where I'm at now. And leaving that behind, rediscovering yourself, and going to the next level. And I remember a story where I think I had the car probably 3 months. Yeah. And my dad came over, right? And you know, he'd always had nice, because he was a salesperson, always company cars. He was driving Fords and Commodores and so forth like that. Yeah. And we went for a drive, you know, and it was a green. It was a British Racing green BMW. It was beige interior. It was a 323. I remember it vividly. Yeah. And I said to my dad, I said, "You can take the car for a week." And he goes, "No." And I could see it. I can remember it like it was yesterday. Yeah. It was that same kind of self-talk that I had when I was sitting out front of the BMW Artarmon. Yeah. He was going, "No, I don't." And I said, "Dad," I said, "please give me your keys. Just take the car for a week." You know? So he did. And Mum said, I remember speaking to Mum about it, and she said, within a couple of days, he was talking differently. His whole, the way that he spoke was different. Yeah. And lo and behold, he brought the car back. Right? He said, he absolutely loved it. Yeah. Zach, within 3 months, he talked to his boss at work, and he was driving a BMW company car. Yeah, it was amazing. So, and it was kind of a defining moment for me. Yeah, because I was quite proud that I could actually help my dad go to that level as well. You know, and because he had always had, and my dad used to call it a self-limiting belief. Right, we all have these self-limiting beliefs. And the fact that he could grow beyond that as well,
Yeah.
and was actually, it taught me something that, you know what, it doesn't matter what age you are.
Yeah.
You know, you can always start again. You can
Yeah.
always change who you are in, you know, obviously in an obviously ethical way, but you can always change the image of yourself.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was quite special for me that happened.
It's such an inspiring thing as well that self-growth can act as a ripple. Not only does it uplift yourself, it can ripple out into people around you, and you can see that
Yeah.
develop within them
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I totally agree with you. But in having that change, sometimes you have to shed the people, you know, some people around you. You have to let go of some people that may not want you to fly. You know, because you'll start to fly, and they'll hold you. You're up there, but they'll hold you around the ankle,
Yeah.
and they're going to be your blockers. They're going to be the ones that are going to stop you flying.
Proverbial cars on the road in a way. They're
Yeah,
inhibiting.
100%. They're the obstacles, and sometimes, well, I would say, if you have those negative people around you, or the people that don't want to wish you well, you have to let them go. This is part of the whole process. For myself, back then there was people around me that I just had to say, okay, well, I'm going. You know, you can either come with me, or, you know, I have to. This is my life. I have to let you go. You know, you always be nice to those people, but you cannot hang around them, because they will literally be a blocker for you. Same things now. You know, you have to shed people around you to go to the next level. You know, if you haven't got good people around you, or people that want to see you do well, you just have to let them go. And also, sorry to cut you off, but
No, of course.
and it's also worldly possessions as well. Worldly possessions. If you've got possessions, sometimes you have to strip yourself so far back. All right. Zach, at one stage I had 8 Rolex watches, right, when I was in real estate, and I thought that was me. You know, I thought you know, I had the big house in San Susie, you know, 8 Rolex watches and cars and stuff like that. But that's not who I was. You know, and that's all gone. You know, we have a nice house, don't worry. But all those little things that I thought defined me, I've sold them all. I've got rid of them all. You know, because if I need to go to that next level, that old Brendon, that old real estate Brendon that I thought defined, you know, all those little things that I had that I thought defined me, they have to go as well. So it's the worldly possessions, it's the people, and it's your self-limiting beliefs as well. They have to go. So, sorry to cut you off.
No, of course. On a related point, whether it be a person or a thing, I'm wondering, what do you think has been the hardest thing in your life or your career to date that you've had to let go of to become who you are?
Ego. Ego. I would say. My first one of my mentors in real estate. He taught me that there's 2 types of egos. There's ego pride, and there's ego strength. Okay. Ego pride will get you in trouble. All right. Ego pride's it will not serve you well. You know, but ego strength is the type of ego where you say, okay, well, I know who I am. All right. I'm not going to be an asshole about it. All right. I know who I am. I know where I want to go. I know what the type of people I want around me. But that will serve you very well. So people confuse ego sometimes. You go ego strength, ego pride. Ego pride will get you in trouble all the time. And I had to let go of ego pride. All right, the cars, the image of who I was. You know, the watches, all the little things that I thought that made up. You know, that's all ego pride. You know, you have to let that go. So that's hard because you think, or I thought, and I know a lot of people do. You think that's what people define you, how people define you. Oh, Brendon's got a nice watch, or, you know, he's got a nice car, he's got a nice house. But who gives a fuck about what those people think? Really, it's what you think about yourself. It's what your partner, your significant partner, it's what your kids think about you. You know, that's what's real. That's ego strength. You know, can I be strong for my partner, my wife? Can I be strong for my son? All that other stuff. It's all bullshit. But to give it up, to go to the next level, it has been hard. It has been hard. So but now I've done it. You know, I'm still on the journey, because I do believe that the bloke upstairs or the universe, it gives you tests, right? And you know, and you have to prove that you're worthy before you get it. You just don't get things handed to you. You have to prove, and you will be put through the test, right? But I firmly believe that God or the universe or whoever you believe in, or whatever you believe in, sends you gifts, right? You get sent gifts, but they're wrapped up as problems. You know, you have to unwrap the problem to find the gift. Otherwise, you'll always look at this, whatever you've been given, as a problem, you know? And that some people just can't get past the unwrapping bit, you know? They can't, and it takes a lot to unwrap it. You know? Unwrap the problem. What's the problem? You know, why is this happening to me? And people ask the question, why is this happening to me? But they never find the answer. Why is it happening to me? Why is it always happening to me? Yeah, because there's obviously a reason why it's happening. Yeah, unwrap the problem, and then you'll find the gift.
I was going to ask, what do you think it was the hardest or the most painful present you've had to unwrap?
Well, that's a tough one. The most painful. It would have to be the self-image of myself. It would have to be probably the most painful thing, and I've literally just gone through it, and it can be quite painful, because when you've been at the top of your game, all right, and you've literally you could buy whatever you want, not whatever you want, but you were very comfortable, and then all of a sudden, you know, you don't have that anymore. That can be quite painful, and it's quite daunting. It's quite for, especially anybody that's been in a leadership role before. You know, when you have to start again, all right, whether it's for a new business, giving up what you thought was yourself, you know. But I would literally say giving up the hardest present that I've had to unwrap, or you know, is that I'll definitely say, you know, my belief of myself, you know, and what I thought and who I thought I was. You know, that was probably the most difficult thing I've ever had to do. Yeah.
A lot of the later stages of this conversation are focused a lot on ego, identity, and I'm curious to ask you, what do you think your identity is at the moment? If someone were to ask, who are you? What do you think the answer is?
I'm still trying to work that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my answer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I literally, because I don't have the answer for that right now. Because I'm still going through that process. So
well, here's a question for you then.
Okay.
What do you want it to be? What is the identity that you're trying to build and impart, impress upon your wife, impart upon your son? What would you like it to be?
I think that what I've always said to my son, right, my job as a dad is to make sure that you're better than me. Always. I say to him literally every week, I said, mate, my job is to make sure that I need you to be a better man than I've ever been. I said, if you get past that and you're a better man, I said, I've won it as a dad. I've done my job. You know, so, and also as well, like, to be a good husband as well, to be the best husband I can for my wife. But they're the two North Stars, you know, in my life. So I would definitely say, just to be the best dad, because I, like today, okay, I was just deep thinking. I was in work mode. I was in the zone, right?
Mm-hmm.
And my son had a piano concert. Okay. And it was at 3:30, so it was kind of right when I was in the middle of everything. You know, it's like these schools, they always put these things on at the fucking wrong time. You know? So I literally, my wife said, "I'm going. Are you coming?" You know, right? And I literally had to think about it. All right.
Yeah.
Not for too long, but I had to think. You know what? Because unfortunately, you know, when I was young, my dad didn't show up to these things, you know, because he had to work. It was literally, they lost a business. They had the hard yards, you know, so, and very rarely, because they worked their backside off, you know, because they just had to. They couldn't literally go and leave work at 3:30 and go and watch their kids. It just didn't happen. And a lot of the time, I speak to people my age and they go, it never happened, you know, but I needed to show up. I needed to be there. I needed my son to see me walk through the door, you know, because I knew it was important to him, right? And that's all I got. That's as a person, right? The cars, the watches, the houses, the business, they'll always be there. But being a dad and showing up for my son, that is everything. You know what I mean? So, and that just means everything. So, and you know, it was a tough decision today. It wasn't tough, but it was like, shit, fucking, you know, and I rushed out the door, but just seeing his face when I walked through the door, mate, money can't buy that sort of shit, you know. And and that's probably the reason why I did give up real estate, or I sold the business, so I could be present, or just be present with him, you know. And if it means that I never am a CEO again, or I don't have the type of business that I had before, but I was the best dad I could be, and the best husband I could be, I'm okay with that. You know, that's so, yeah. Ask that question again right now. Who am I? I just want to be the best dad and the best husband. That's who I am right now. So that might morph into another business, and you know, very, very soon. But I won't stop being the best dad and the best husband, because that's who I am. You know, so I just want to be present for them. So, because at the end of the day, mate, when I go, and my son's got, you know, memories and stuff like that, I want him to be the same for his kids. You know what I mean? Be present, be there. You know, so because a lot of, you know, I didn't have, you know, a lot of people don't have that. You know, so whoever gets to experience being a dad, fuck, you know, it's the best. It's the best feeling you could ever have. You know what I mean? So that's who I am right now.
Yeah. We've taken a lot of your time this evening, so I think we might start giving your time back to you in a moment. But of course, as always, I'm gonna have to ask you a question that I ask all of our guests to finish our episodes. Why do you think everybody hates lawyers?
Now, why do I think that everybody hates lawyers? That's a good question, because it's very parallel with why do you think everybody hates real estate agents? You know? So I've been in that kind of, I'm in your zone, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anytime that you need, or people need someone from a legal profession, there's some sort of chaos around it, unfortunately. You know, people run from chaos. People don't like chaos, all right? And when there's chaos, yeah, you might not be the winner. You might lose a bit, but there's always, unfortunately, when there's conflict, there's always going to be losers. And I think when people obviously have to go and see a lawyer, the number one thing that people fear is, I think, the unknown. Like, how much is this going to cost? Right? Because people if it's a drawn out process, unfortunately, it's going to cost a lot of money. That's how the fraternity works. You know, the quicker it is, probably the less money it's going to cost. The longer it is, it's going to cost. So people have a fear when they don't know how much things are going to cost. They get their back up. All right, it's called price shop, you know? And that's probably why a lot of people don't like lawyers, because maybe the transparency is not there. You know, when you get good lawyers in the industry, like I've got very good lawyers that look after our business, and I see them I'm grateful every time I have to pay their bill. I'm grateful. I come from a place of gratitude. I say, you know what, they're on my side. So I think if people can try and change and have a paradigm shift when they're going to see a lawyer, you know, usually we go to see a lawyer because we've got a problem. We need a will done. We need something sorting out. We've got an issue. You know, there's something that needs to be fixed. People just need to have a paradigm shift and go, I need to be grateful that I got this person standing next to me.
And I guess you could be uniquely placed to answer this question, but how do you think your company, Employ.com, we haven't actually mentioned the name of it yet, how do you think Employ might be able to help with that? Because I know you've got a legal bot, a legal agent as well.
Yeah. So we've got it sitting there in the wings at the moment, which is we haven't taken it to market yet, but it is there, so it's fantastic. So I remember showcasing this legal agent to a lawyer, right, who happened to be one of the mums at school, and I listened. I said, I want you to try and break this thing for me. You know? I said, go for it. And it said, we call him Kevin from Legal. So Kevin from Legal, he's there, and her face is on the camera because I took my laptop, and she was asking Kevin legal stuff, legal terms that I just wouldn't even know. Right? I didn't even. We've trained Kevin up on all the Australian law, all commercial law. We haven't done case law yet, so because we haven't delved in, that's very, very tricky. You know, and you have to have this obviously
subscriptions.
100%, definitely. So the case law is very difficult. It can be done, but we just haven't ventured into it yet. But anyway, she was asking all these questions, and I thought she would turn around and go, "Oh my goodness, this thing's going to take my job." But the way she saw it, she said, "This is wonderful. This is fantastic." She goes, "I'm going to be able to train all my staff on this now." And she goes, "I'll save downtime in training." So and she did the positive spin that she put on it was amazing. All right, and I just went, "Wow, this is great," you know. And that's what it's there for. It's not there to take away people's jobs. AI is there to smooth out inefficiencies. You know, obviously you hear people's jobs, you know, 1,600 people being sacked or people let go, and that's not all got to do with AI. All right, yeah. If you scratch the surface and look under these things, these companies are not doing that well. That's why they might say, "Oh, listen, we're moving into AI now." It's just an excuse.
The scapegoat.
100%. AI used correctly can smooth out some really, really good inefficiencies in business and make people's jobs within companies more efficient. All right. So, so the legal agent we haven't released yet. It's sitting there. It's amazing. We did twice now. We went in 2020, end of 2025 and end of 2024. We went to Abu Dhabi and Dubai, and we showcased the legal bot. And we came over one meeting, and I said to my CTO at that stage, I said, "Do you think we could train this on all the Arabic or all the Saudi laws and all the UAE or GCC laws?" So he said, "Yeah, we'll try." So we were literally on the plane on the way back. And this plane that had Wi-Fi, which was great. So we literally downloaded all the Saudi laws, all right, and all the laws for GCC, and we trained this bot on all the the UAE laws and so forth. And I said, "Do you reckon we could get it to speak Arabic?" He goes, yeah. So within 2 days, we had this legal agent speaking Arabic. You could switch it from English to Arabic, Arabic to English. So it's kind of cool. It's really cool. So we just haven't released it because we just need to focus on these first 3 products. But we've got one for HR as well. We've got we call her Jenny from HR, and literally Jenny from HR will be able to answer any HR questions you've got. Obviously, with Kevin from legal, he's not a lawyer, but we just he's like an assistant. So we've got that there. The reason why I bought that in and why I developed that is for businesses that you might have an issue like it. And most business owners, they're working their butts off during the day, and then they have to get to either staff issues or other issues late at night. We can't call our lawyer at 10 o'clock at night. You guys have got to rest. But imagine if you could just ask it a question and at least put your mind to rest where you kind of stand. You know what I mean? In maybe a conflict or with a HR problem within the business, and then you can go into it the next day knowing
with some momentum,
some knowledge and some information behind you. So all these agents are not there to replace anybody, but it's just there to again smooth out inefficiencies and literally help business owners like navigate some murky waters sometimes. So
well, I can assure you that personally I'm very excited to have Kevin, my paralegal, by my side to assist with my career.
Yeah, fantastic.
Brendon, I'm really grateful for your time tonight.
It's been my pleasure, Zach. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
Perfect. Hopefully we'll have you on again sometime soon.
That'd be cool. If we can make this a regular thing, I'd really like that. That'd be good.
Perfect. Thank you.
And then you might be able to get an answer to your question. Who am I?
It might change, and then when I have you on again, it'll be
different.
Yeah.
It might change every 3 months.
As it should as well. You don't want it to be static.
Yeah, you want to be ever evolving. So that's good. But thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah, awesome.
Brendon.
Is that good?
That was perfect. That was awesome. That was really good.
Is that take 1? We're going to do take 2 now?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah. That was a draft.
Do the real one now.
I didn't hit record. Yeah.